Hey YouTube, this is Tom at TM Aquatics, and I hope everyone's doing great. It's been quite a while since I've uploaded any edited content here on the YouTube platform. I decided to take a break, step away from YouTube, and just focus all my time and energy, A, on work, B, on family, and C, on the fish room, upgrades, new equipment, new species, and breeding projects. However, I thought today would be a good day to start putting some content out again. I do have an L134 male, leopard frog pleco male in that 55-gallon tank behind me where I keep my breeding group of adult wild caughts. And he's sitting on a clutch of fry right now in a cave. He's got a couple other females knocking on his door that want to get in and spawn with him. So before he either A, kicks the fry out, or B, they start to escape in the tank, I want to pull that cave, get them into a breeder box where I can focus feed them and target feed them, get a little size, get a little bulk on them before emptying them into a larger grow out system. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna move back to this 55-gallon. I'm gonna show you my process and what has worked for me here in my fish room. But anyways, I do hope you stick around and check this out. All right, YouTube, this is the target cave right there. That is my alpha male, and he is fanning probably somewhere between 20 to 30 L134 fry. Now, these fry have put some size on. They're not freshly hatched. They've almost completely absorbed their yolk sac, but I need to get that out for a couple of reasons. There's been a couple other females hanging around his cave that want to get in there to spawn with him. So I want to maximize the production out of this tank because last year, we didn't get hardly any L134s out of this fish room. And I had an alpha male that would constantly eat the eggs. And in fact, I didn't even sell any L134s last year. This guy has been a rock star. Let me back up. I removed that previous alpha male, allowed this male here to become the alpha. And he's just been a rock star as far as guarding the fry, guarding the eggs, hatching them out, and just doing everything textbook that he should be doing. But those other females want to get in there and spawn with him. I don't want him to get nervous or anxious. I don't want him to injure any of those young fry in there. And they're getting to a size now where they might try to get out of the cave, and I don't want them getting out in this tank because these little guys over here might give them a hard time. So anyways, it's time to pull the cave now. Normally when I pull this cave, or when I reach down there, he usually leaves the cave immediately. And then it's just a matter of lifting the cave out and dropping it into the fry box where I will keep them and target feed them for, several weeks before putting them into a larger grow out system. But anyways, what I'll do is I'll lift that cave out. If he decides to come out with the cave, I'll probably drop them in this here. And I have this waiting and ready in case that happens. I also have a little shrimp net to catch any little juveniles if they escape the cave when I try to pull them out. Normally they don't. They hang tight, and it's just a matter of lifting the cave out, walking it over here to this grow out tank where I will have this BL2 fry box waiting for them. I like to use these Zis fry boxes for Plecos for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is an internal fry box and it hangs in the tank, so the temperature is the same and consistent as the grow out tank. It also has these screen sides, so even if like this air stone gets clogged and there's no bubbles coming up, you're still going to get some fresh water coming through and moving through the fry box, and it's never going to pollute the fry box enough to where it really kills off or endangers the health of the young fry. Now, in the past, I used to use these fry boxes, but these have a design flaw, and I have had the bottoms of these lift tubes here clog up, so the water stopped flowing. In fact, I lost like 20 L134 fry once in one of these types of fry boxes. I still use these for Corydoras because their bioload is so much smaller that even if the lift tube stops, the young cories are probably going to be okay. Number one, the temperature in the room and in this water is going to stay in a safe zone for the cories, but there just isn't that much bioload where they're going to be at risk. But I won't use these for Plecos on it anymore because, like I said, I did lose, like 20 L134s once because the intake tube got clogged, came down in the morning. That happened overnight, came down in the morning, and all but just 2 or 3 of them were dead. So I use these for Plecos and won't use the other type. Now I do have a couple others here in the fish room. I do have the Zis couple of BL3s, and I don't really care for them as much, although I will use them if I have to, because these also, in addition to have screen on the sides, in addition to have the screens on the side, they also have a screen on the bottom. But the issue with that is I do feed my baby Plecos periodic feedings of live baby brine shrimp, and with the screens on the bottom, the baby brine shrimp fall through, and they really don't get an opportunity to eat it, or eat as much. And with the solid bottom, with the solid plastic bottom like the BL2, keeps the baby brine shrimp in there, obviously. Now some does escape through the sides, but that's neither here nor there. So anyways, these are the fry boxes that I use. I'm going to go ahead, shut the video off for just a second while I get this fry box ready in the tank, and then we'll go over here and we'll try to get that cave out and see if we can get a good count on how many fry we have, and then make sure they have everything they need in the fry box, piece of wood, a catappa leaf, things like that are going to grow some biofilm on them, so once they start coming out of the cave, they can start rasping on biofilm, which is extremely important for your young Plecos. It is believed that biofilm is usually one of their first foods, and that it can help jumpstart their digestive system. So you want to make sure you have something in there with a little bit of biofilm, whether it be a piece of wood, a piece of cholla wood, Indian almond leaf, catappa leaf, something like that. So anyways, let's get going and get this cave out. Alright, so we have the Zis BL2 fry box or breeder box in the 40 breeder here. Temperature on this tank currently is, I don't know if you can see that, it's 82 degrees is the set point. It does drop down to 81 before the heater kicks back on, so there can be up to a one degree deviation, but we're all set. So let's go ahead, pull that cave and see what we have for juveniles. Okay, Dad jettisoned out. So we're getting the cave up by itself. Make sure we clean it off so we're not adding a bunch of crap into the fry box straight away. Alright, so I'm going to cover that opening. Have that. Alright. I don't know how I'm going to do this real quick. I want to shine down in there and see if I can get a good count of how many juveniles I have. Stay. Kind of risky, but I don't know if you can see down in there. Camera's not going to really focus on that. I don't want to keep this sitting there like that too long. I'm going to shut this off so I can get a better count, give you an idea how many juveniles we have in here, and I'll be right back. Alright YouTube, so this is the final setup. I still need to get a catappa leaf in there and maybe a little piece of wood that has some biofilm growing on it, but essentially this is what I usually start these out with. We have the cave in here, and the caves don't fit. The caves that I use, or a lot of the caves that I use here in the fish room, don't lay flat in the breeder box, and that's okay by me. So it stays kind of propped up. You might be able to see all the little youngsters down there. I estimate the count to be around 25, plus or minus. And but it looks like a nice hatch. But I'll stick an air stone in front of the cave like that, and that just helps provide some additional circulation in the cave for the youngsters. So you can see the bubbler back here behind, or that's part of the fry box. That's pushing water up, so fresh water is coming in through the sides. But before I forget, let me go grab a couple of leaves and a piece of wood, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Alright YouTube, I found a piece of cholla wood that was in another Pleco grow out tank, so I put that here in the fry box. You can see it laying on top of the cave, and that's already has some biofilm growing on it and some other little munchies that they'll be able to rasp on. And then floating above that, you can see there is a catappa leaf in here. That's a fresh catappa leaf. I didn't have any already pre-soaking, and should have thought of that ahead of time and had a couple soaking for a couple days already. But anyways, won't be but another day or two, and that catappa leaf will sink here in the fry box, adding a little bit of cover for the little plecos as they start to come out of the cave, and then start developing some biofilm on it, which again is going to be one of their first food sources. And it's believed that that biofilm again helps jumpstart their digestive system. So anyways, I did try to take another peek in here, and it looks like there's about 25 here in the clutch. So anyways, in the tank that they're in, it's another Pleco grow out tank where I currently have a bunch of other L134s, and then center frame between those two caves right there, that's an L174. I bought 6 of those earlier this summer, back in June or July, and I have another 6 coming in next week from Dan at Dan's Fish. So really excited about the L174. It's a deeper water Pleco from the Rio Xingu down in South America and Brazil. In this, again, I have about 20-25 L134s. I also have about 20 to 25 L260 Queen Arabesque Plecos in here. There's probably a bunch piled up in this cave and a bunch piled up in that cave. They just stack in there, like 6 or 7 of them will stack in each one of these caves. Again, half dozen L174s. There's some 134s, 174, and 260s up there. So that's what we have going on in that tank. The tank that I pulled that piece of cholla wood out of. Over here we have 65. There's 65 L134s currently growing out in this tank here. So it is going to be a dynamite year for L134s. Again, last year I didn't offer any L134s for sale just because I didn't get any breeding here in the fish room. So this year, even though breeding season has just started, between the L134s we already have and the L134, there's the dad right there. He's probably looking for his babies. I swapped out his cave for that one there. But good news is he'll be back on eggs within a week. But between what we currently have in the fish room and the 25 or so that are up here, we already have well over 100 L134s growing out in the fish room, so I should have plenty available next year when I start shipping in April or May. So keep that in mind if you're looking for L134s. Again, the L260s are not going to be for sale, and the L174s are definitely not for sale. But anyways, this is the process, that I take here in my fish room. This is what's worked for me. I do understand there's other ways that you can do this, and there's other ways that other YouTubers and hobbyists handle, pulling caves, removing fry, etc., etc. But this is what's worked well for me, and really don't lose any fry this way, and always have a nice, healthy success rate. So anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. All right, YouTube, well, there you have it. Another 25 L134s added to the fish room here at TM Aquatics. I'm really excited for this breeding season, and it's not even November yet. So this is going to be a dynamite year. We also have growing out in the fish room, we have Corydoras Kanakis, Corydoras orange lasers, Corydoras green lasers, Corydoras bozemanii, Scleromystax barbatus, and a whole bunch of other things. So anyways, it's going to be a great breeding season, but I do appreciate each and every one of you taking time out of your day to watch one of my videos and stop by my channel. If you have any comments, feel free to drop them down below, and I'll do my best to respond when time allows. Also, if you liked what you saw, go ahead, hit that like button, and if you want to follow along the TM Aquatics journey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciate it, and I'd be honored. Anyways, everyone take care. Thanks again for your time, and until the next one, we'll catch you all later.